alive. Have a good evening. Good evening, friends.
Good evening.
Oh, wonderful. Good evening. Welcome to Littleport Christian Spiritualists this fine Thursday evening. It's so good to see so many familiar faces, some new faces, some non-Thursday faces, and some faces from afar. It is wonderful to welcome you all here this evening. Now, I know you're not here for me. I know you're here because of drums and our medium tonight. But it's still good to see you all, because communities are built by like-minded people with compassion, kindness, love and laughter. And that is what we are all about. Not just here in Littleport Village Hall, but that's the point and purpose of spiritualism. And we, my friends, are making a difference. We are raising the rafters, raising our voices and being heard everywhere. So thank you for being here. And so please remember that one of the most important components of an evening of divine mediumship is that we have a medium here to perform that mediumship. And today, it's been like a lifetime since we last saw her. But it is so much of a pleasure to welcome back a very dear friend of myself and of Littleport. So please raise the roof, raise the rafters, and make a loud noise so that the whole spirit world know that we are here. And welcome our medium for tonight, Shelley Youell! It has been an honour and privilege over the years to watch Shelley's development in this way of life. I remember so many years ago when we would both be standing and gossiping about what it is that we need to do next on our path. And it is so wonderful to see such a well-rounded, stand-up, truthful individual providing the philosophy and the truth of spirit for us tonight. So thank you for coming. And it's good to have you back. It's been far too long. And so, friends, tonight it is almost the same as normal. I'm very sorry, Barry, but there is philosophy. But there is, of course, healing. And thank you to the White Feather drummers, the White Feather shamanic drummers, who have gathered themselves here for two purposes today. They will be accompanying us for our healing moment during the service. And they have also been organised, thank you, Eunice, to stay behind and go into the curtained area and be recorded so that we can have their sound and their drums accompanying every healing after tonight. Because I will be recording them and we will be bringing back the musical accompaniment for the healing. And so they will be the ones accompanying us all, not only here, but at home every single week from now on in. And it's so exciting, I cannot tell you. But that is such a wonderful thing. So thank you all who've brought your drums and borrowing drums, and thank you all for agreeing to it. And of course, we will be having a reading in the not too distant future. But first, please be reminded that this is a divine service, a divine evening of mediumship. So let's join together and open this evening in prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, divine universal source of all things, we thank you. We thank you for the opportunity to come together as friends, to unite under a banner of love, of hope, of friendship, to witness your proof and your truth that life is indeed eternal. So as we place this service in your care and keeping, we ask the veil be lifted and our loved ones called forward, that we might witness that truth. And we place this service in the name of love, truth and light. Amen. It would, of course, be a good idea to double check the comments and make sure that everyone at home can hear us. And of course, it looks like they can. So that's one technical issue from last week fixed. Marvellous stuff. And of course, be reminded, notices, this coming Sunday is the workshop. Exciting times. Reflections of the soul is the subject. Really quite appropriate subject as well, I think, considering all what goes on in our lives and all what's going on in the world right now. But it's going to be uplifting, it's going to be joyous, and it's going to be spiritual. It's £15, it's in that room, and everyone gathers together and do you know what? Last time, do you know what the best part of it was? It was the food. It was delicious. Everyone brought a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of the other. I'll probably make my coleslaw again this time. So, I know that people prefer my coleslaw to my workshop, so that's for sure. But it was absolutely wonderful. So thank you all who contribute and donate. And come along. It's a good laugh, if nothing else. And we do learn a few bits and pieces from each other. So there we are. That's that. And of course, there's lots to discuss today in terms of a philosophical nature, but I'm trying to pace myself and time myself more accurately than I even normally do. Because many people will have heard about the Lion's Gate portal. And I'm not going to deny I know absolutely stuff all about it. It is, I know, scary, isn't it? But I will always, and I think it's an appropriate and a righteous thing, that in this way of life, people always acknowledge that they don't know everything and that they're not perfect. And I am certainly never been perfect, that's for sure. But I don't know much about it. But what I do know about it is that on the 8th of the 8th, at 8 o'clock, 888, there's the numbers you see, the numerology, and it's all connected with the astrology. And it's 2024 as well. Thank you very much. See, this is what we do. We all come together to share knowledge and we learn from each other. But I do know that the Lion's Gate portal is one of those numerological and astrological moments that have come together and combined to be a window of opportunity. And that, my friends, is what I want to talk about. It's what I've been feeling about this whole week, and I knew that it would be something, because every moment is a window of opportunity, and we should not have to wait for specific times to take our window of opportunity. But when there is something that is of note, when there is something that is well written about and recorded, that is an opportunity for everyone to come together and unite. I have spoken a lot this week about unity, about coming together as being as one. And in times of adversity and in times of difficulty, that is when the silent majority must find its voice. The silent majority is good, noble, wonderful. But sometimes, my friends, the silent majority can be a bit too quiet. So opportunities like today, where there is a moment in numerology and astrology united together, it's a time for us all to reflect. There you go. I didn't know about it a week ago, and there you go. Sunday, we're talking about reflection. It's an opportunity to reflect. It's an opportunity to unite. We do that every night within this church with the silent minute. But when something is different and unique, it draws in more people. We must remember, though, my friends, that every person has their moment to stand up and speak, their moment to share their truth, their moment to be themselves. And that's what this way of life is all about. And that has been very well reflected this week, when the silent majority stand up and say, hang on a minute, that's not us. In this way of life, I have come over the last 12 years since I was made a minister to learn one very important truth. There is one Spirit. It has many names. It has many voices. It has many descriptions, and it has many paths that lead to it. We all have a path. We all have a path that we walk, sometimes alone. Oftentimes it will intersect. Oftentimes it will fly away. But that path, no matter where it takes you and how you walk it, always leads you to the same place. If all paths are individual, and yet they lead to one location, our destination is unity, compassion, and kindness. But the idea of having so many different paths is that we all have the opportunity to walk our own path and learn our own truths, to learn our own way. And nobody has the right to say the words, "You are wrong." So long as what we say and what we do is born out of compassion, respect, and a desire for people to come together, your heart will speak to you and say, "Not my path, but it's got a few junctions along the way. Maybe we'll meet again." And we do. Because, my friends, what I have learnt this morning is that the silent majority, when it finds its voice, is even more powerful than that sleeping giant, Generation X. It is said, of course, that Generation X should not be poked, should not be woken up, and should be left alone. But the silent majority, my friends, even more so. Because when it raises up, it says, we are one, we are of peace, and we are of compassion. And how we find that route? Well, my friends, that's up to you. Because you're walking your own path. But I do know that all of our paths twist, overlap, and intersect together. And so, for my part, it's a pleasure to walk along this section of the motorway with you. But never forget that you have every right to walk your own path, and no one has the right to tell you that you do not understand Spirit, because Spirit understands you and will always find a way of bringing us back together. That's what those junctions up ahead are all about. So, friends, thank you for listening, and God bless you all. And so now is the time where Tony pushes a button, plugs her in. It sounds a bit cyber, really, doesn't it? We're now going to have our reading from the wonderful Eunice. She's just being wired up as we speak. And we will see if her guides and my guides have been playing in the sandpit together or whether they've just been on annual leave this week. But please welcome to the front the lovely Eunice.
Good evening, one and all, and everybody at home. Monday, while sitting quietly, a vision came to me. I was shocked and did not understand if this was meant for me. Was my vision just for me alone, as only I could see? They said this is how it happens, this is how it's meant to be. Or we all have a journey, a reason why we're here. That's why one that we may follow, one that's not to fear. Meditation, this will help. Just open up your heart. Let the message come to you. Help see the greater part. The greater part, your journey, the road that you may take, the answer to some questions about mistakes that you may make. Free will is always present, but believe me when I say mistakes can help us learn a lot in their own peculiar way. We are all just human. We have a lot to learn. It's part of life's journey, but with help at every turn. Stand up for right, stand up for good, for this is what I say. Spread your truth through love and light. I can ask once more. When we see injustice, action sometimes is required. Be kind in how you handle it. That way you stay inspired. For problems may cause anger. You only need to look. Let's be the ones to comfort. Let's all rewrite the book. I am humbled that this came to me, so I share it here today. Use love and understanding. It is the only way.
Wow. Eunice, amazing. Thank you. That's beautiful. You've no idea how close I was to quoting my great aunt in relation to a statement regarding a hookem. That's actually a really good point. If anyone knows what a hookem is, please let me know. I've been wanting my whole life to know what she was talking about, but I'm not sharing the full statement. It's a little bit naughty. But we'll talk about that when the cameras are off and rolling. Amazing, Eunice. Thank you so much. What a beautiful. And I know that given a little bit of opportunity, you'll kindly share it with everyone at home in written form as well. And if anything, you can come in, you don't have to keep rattling the door. They've been rattling the door all day. Should the lights start flickering, the doors start creaking. I'll deal with that. I know it's an open door.
It's not me.
I hope. But yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And if anything deserves to be in print and with a nice image behind it to give it a shareable, then that's it. So type it up. I'll copy and paste it into Photoshop and we'll make it into a thing. Bless you. Thank you, Eunice. And now, of course, as the clock turns over to 8 o'clock, it's time for some healing. So I'm going to shut my mouth and hand over to Tony so that we can all be sending our love and thoughts out and banging away at 8 minutes past 8. Welcome, Tony!
Well, thank you. What a welcome. And I've got 8 minutes.
I'll give you a nod about 8:45.
From the healing book.
15-minute ones, anywhere between that.
Yes, I know. I can work that one out. Agatha and Wayne. Wayne, Auntie Pat in Sheffield, who's got cancer. Viv Upton, our very own Rusty. Margaret Elaine, Kathy, David, Sylvie, Roger, Alan, Amanda. Maddie the dog. Freedom the kitten is much better. So keep going because we'll get it right eventually. Philip and Paul. And the other bit of news, for those of you who are not aware, Gertrude the pony is actually getting better.
Oh, wow.
It's just, I can't claim all the credit, but you guys have been doing it for weeks and weeks, and we got a phone call over the weekend to say Gertrude's getting better. So that's just amazing. And for all those who say you can't heal an animal, don't believe them. Right, healing time. For those of you who would like some healing, please raise your hand. Those of you who are prepared to give some healing, please go to where there is a hand raised. There. One more there. We're there. Just a few words before I do start.
I'll go at the back if you want to.
Thank you. Yes, please. As ever, when we come together to do the healing, it is manifested by the more of us that think and try, the more powerful it becomes. I know some drummers are getting ready to accompany the healing. So please, Great Spirit, send your power down through your healers in just one moment. Drummers, if you are assembled and ready. Yes. Okay. Please, healers begin. Drummers begin. Thank you, drummers. Thank you, healers. If you can just pull yourselves back now. And as I say every week, thanks to those of you who asked for more than one reason. Thank you.
Oh, wow. I hope the sound came through in nice stereo with both these microphones working. But we will be recording it in full throttle this evening. There we go, my love. Well done. Thank you to Tony and our healers. And thank you, of course, to the White Feather Drummers. What an amazing experience. And I cannot wait to hear what it sounds like both tonight. So you can let us know in the comments because we can see you. And also when we do I've got the big microphone ready. We're going to be recording it with 3 microphones. So hopefully we'll be able to pick up its full effects. But thank you so much to everyone. And you know what? With a Lion's Gate open and it's all about intention, sending out healing for self and each other is the best message you could have been pushing through that door. So God bless you all and thank you. And so now, in a moment, I'm going to be handing over the rest of this evening to a very dear friend who's going to take us all the way through to around about 8:45, 9 o'clock. And if she comes to you, please answer in a clear voice, yes, no, don't know. Don't feed the medium, she'll bite your hand off. If the curtains do start twitching and the chairs start sliding and should the door start rattling, especially after him going shutting that door, you can follow me, I'll be the first one out, especially now. But do have an uplifting and joyful evening. Thank you to Alan for noting the light. I hope it's not distracting anymore. It's off now, so it won't be. And thank you to all of you for being here. Now, please give a beautiful Littleport welcome to our very dear friend and our exponent of spirit, an ambassador of spirit tonight. Please welcome the lovely Shelley Youell.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And thank you, Nick. It has been quite some time we've known each other, isn't it?
It has.
And I've tried to support Littleport where I can.
Always. But
it's lovely to see all your faces, and it has been far too long since I've been. So sometimes I go direct, sometimes I don't. So there's no falling asleep, okay? So, and if there's 2 of you understand, put your hands up, don't be shy. Please, you know, this is a celebration of life after life. So, you know, the joy. It's such a sacred place we share at this moment, isn't it? And it's such a privilege to be a part of it. And as I start to move my awareness to the spirit, I feel I've got a lady called Mary with me, and I know that she makes me aware of mobility problems and a Zimmer frame there with her actually before she passed. But I'll tell you what, she did not like that Zimmer frame at all. It's almost like I'm bashing it about because I really wish I didn't have to use it. And it's like, she's really actually quite a strong-willed character, I have to say. And she does make me laugh. But, you couldn't help but love her because of the way she was. And would I be correct also that she needed 24-hour care, or she would have had to go into a residential home? Because, am I here? Because I see you giggling, but I thought, I've just gone directly there. Oh, she is funny, isn't she? She really is. And do you understand Mavis as well? Because her name, your grandmother this is, isn't it? Is it your grandmother, isn't it? And her name's Mary. And do you understand Mavis? Mavis. I tell you why, because I feel like there was a bit like double trouble in the home. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah, there was a lady she got on with really well, and I feel that they would bounce off each other a little bit. So she never lost her sense of humour, really, did she? She actually got more outrageous with it, if I have to say. And I feel that at times there was times that her mind wasn't quite clear. Does that make sense? I don't know whether it was Alzheimer's, dementia, but it makes me feel a bit, now and again, I got a bit muddled and a bit confused. But then there was times I would be as sharp as a button. And I feel that she would recognise you. You both are nodding, so this must be you both related there. Would that be correct? But she enjoyed the freedom she has, that she doesn't have to use that. Oh, she liked the colourful language as well, didn't she, sometimes? Not strong, but too strong for me to say now. But like, let's say this blasted Zimmer frame I'm glad to get rid of. Do you understand what I mean? Because she didn't like it, did she? At all. Because it is almost this frustration that I had to use it. But it come in handy as well. You understand this? Because she would move people out the way with it as well, wouldn't she? So she is really quite the character. It's almost like they get out of my way when I march towards them. Else they get their toe trod on with the legs of the Zimmer frame. But this is how she makes me feel. What a wonderful character, and so spirited, I have to use. And, the memories you have of her being your grandmother were fabulous. She wasn't, I don't know what a conventional grandmother is, really, because why should be? She wasn't, though, really, was she? She was in appearance, but not in her way. Does that make sense? Because to me, she's like this character. And, she stood up for what was right for her, regardless what people thought, And I know she brings that strength within not just one of you, both of you, about standing up to be seen, to be heard. And you've had to do that very recently, and she stands with you. She is funny because she's holding that Zimmer frame in the air like she's got all this strength now. So, but she holds it up like in celebration. Okay, and it's like she is a loving grandmother. She's very cuddly and loving to a degree, but she was more fun than ever, weren't she? Yeah. And I know that sometimes she couldn't be as expressive with her emotions as she wanted to be. But I know you knew she loved you, but in her way. You would understand that. And I was wondering whether I was going to move on, but she clearly doesn't want me to. And she wants me to talk about things of hers that went to the different people in the family. And there were certain items she wanted you two to have. Does that make sense? And I like to know what them items are, but she's not telling me. It's almost like mind your own business. You know what I mean? That's how it should be, mind your own business. So it's not my business, so I respect that. But as a medium, we like to be curious, to give this information. But I know that she's very pleased that you have stood up to be heard and seen, both of you, because you shouldn't be in the shadows, you should be standing in the light. And not be shy of being who you are. You understand this? So she gives you the joy. She celebrates your steps forward. Best foot forward, she goes, because she is doing it's almost like this. She, without this Zimmer frame, she makes me laugh without it. But she really, really did resent having to use it. But again, she's laughing about it. So I'm going to, Bert's there with her. Do you understand Bert, Albert? Albert, Bertie, she says. And so if you don't understand, you probably have to go and ask, but I know it's her generation. So, but I leave her love with you. And she says, keep keeping on and always best foot forward and never hide yourself away. Stand in your truth. So thank you for working with me. What a good start. What a fabulous grandmother. Okay, I just heard John. So I know I've got a gentleman now. I feel his name is John. I also feel that there's military to me. I feel like I want to say, I wanted to say army, but then I'm changing my mind to there's something to do with naval connections there as well. I feel like my shoulders are back. I'm upright. Passed very quick to the spirit world. I feel it would have been something to do with the heart. That would have passed with blood condition as well, blood pressure, blood heart. Who would understand this? I don't know where I'm going, actually. I feel his name is John. If it's not, then I feel it's closely connected. I don't like to say it like that. I feel it is John. Does anybody understand military connection? I know I'm this side somewhere. So, right, thank you. Very closely connected. Family. Yeah, that's fine, as long as it's family. Because I know I heard John, but would your father-in-law still be here? No, his father-in-law, sorry. Still here. Right, let's work this out because it doesn't seem to be fitting quite right. But you would understand with this gentleman, there's army around him and naval. There's military, definitely.
Definitely free services.
Yes, because I know that I want to count not just one, you see. That's why I went from Navy to Army to Navy. And he's gone like really, because he come in really quite strong and then he's gone all quiet now. And it feels that this time of quiet with him, which is not helpful when I want to communicate with you. But you would understand that he passed very quickly. There was heart problems there with him. Sorry, you'll have to speak up, darling. Yes. Yeah, don't tell me who it is. Let me tell you. It's easy done, though. It's all right. But I know there was heart problems, but there's also blood pressure problems or something with the blood as well. Do you understand that? Yeah, no, I suppose it connects with the heart. But you would understand with your dad, he could be a good communicator, but he did like his quiet as well as he got older. Does that make sense? Because I feel like I go quiet. Yeah, I go quiet, but I know he wasn't always like that. But in that latter part, he'd become more within his thoughts, really. And but I know that health and age and so on that attributed to his passing, but his passing was very quick when it happened. Yeah, it was a quick turn of events there, and but I know it wasn't out the blue. There was health conditions around him there. With him. Do you also understand, going back, that there was a Mrs. Wilson that he knew? A Mrs. Wilson? Would you, I don't know, it's not flowing, but because I almost want to talk about a lady that would have either lived up the road or had a shop up the road, and her name was Mrs. Wilson. But I know we're going back. Right, thank you. Let me tell you, right? So, let me tell you, because I was just asking what's the shop. Now you've told me, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, but there would have been a Mrs. Wilson that owned the shop. And I feel that it was quite a good community there. Do you understand what I mean? She comes, the sense that, I feel she's in spirit as well, but you know, that there's the sense of community spirit and how everybody supported everybody back then, you know, unlike it is so much today. Does that make sense? You know, I know this sounds really quite general from your dad, but he makes me aware that he just goes, I'm really proud of her. I'm really proud of you. And I know that they come in with pride, of course they do. But again, it's been tough going, he tells me, and it's been difficult, and you've been sending thoughts to him. Oh, Dad, give us some strength in this. Dad, help me with this. And he's just giving you clarity that he's very much with you. Sometimes he gives me a man of few words, and that's what he does. He gives me a bit and then he goes quiet again. But that's how he'd be as he got older. And but he so much wants you to know how much he's supporting you within the situation. And that it's not been easy. And it's almost like giving me this sense of biting your lip at times because you can't speak it out. And you can't speak it out. But as I talk of that, you was with Dad around his passing. And would you understand, though, you had a conversation with your dad before he passed? No, correction. No, I've got that completely wrong. Would you understand that as he passed, or after he passed, that you sat and had a moment where you were sending thoughts, a conversation with him? Because I feel he makes me aware of just after he passed that you would have, I got it cross-wired, that you would have sent thoughts to him, or he came close to you. You felt his presence very strongly there.
I did send thoughts.
Yes. No, but I know that you were sending thoughts around that. He wants to acknowledge you, to know that he appreciated that you did that. Yeah, because I feel those thoughts were of healing as well, and of love to Dad. You know, it was a very difficult time where I feel people couldn't be around him. Does that make sense? But he felt your love, even though you couldn't be present. Because I don't want to make that obvious that it was in the COVID, but it just feels that you just couldn't, from distance more than COVID, that you couldn't be together. And he's like, but the love's still there, and he felt the love, even though the distance was there. Do you understand also that he wants to give you a sorry as well? And I know that I'm treading carefully because he's a very private man. And I feel that if I delve too deep, he's not going to tell me anyway because he doesn't want it. It's just between you and him. Do you understand this? This sorry. Not that he's a bad dad or anything like that, because I feel he's a wonderful man and he did his best. But you understand the sorry, because he feels he needs to give that to you. And, you know, and bring this strength with you with the difficulties at the moment. All right. So know he's with you. I feel that's all he wants, to just give you that he's with you. And he does love you, even though he didn't voice that. And that he's okay, but he very much comes close to you and the family at this time. All right. So I leave his love with you. Thank you for working with me. We got there eventually, didn't we? So. Okay, so I've got a younger woman now, and I feel that she passed very quickly to the spirit world. I feel I want to go around the age of 30, 35, actually, maybe nearer to 40. I'm not quite sure, feeling that. But I know a lady that was full of joy, and a lot of life to live. But she passed very quickly. Feels like tragic circumstances to me. I feel that it would have been an accident, actually. And I'm just not got quite what at this stage, but I feel the passing was very quick. I don't feel it was health, it was accident. And I feel she was actually in a car when this happened, in a vehicle, actually. So it was a road traffic accident. Who would understand this? I'm not given a name as yet, but I know, said that. I've just got Sue or Susan's connected round her. I don't feel that's her name. Does anybody understand? If I'm not quite right with the age, I'm looking here again. Sorry, I'm trying to come over here, but I feel gravitated over here again. So you don't understand this, Nick, dear, because I just feel there's this young woman. She was in a small car like a Mini, and it was a car accident.
Oh.
Because I just thought, actually, I'm being drawn to you.
Oh, the Mini is what does, yes.
It's like a Mini.
Yeah. She was a little bit younger than that.
Right, sorry.
She wasn't only an old years older.
Ah,
Yes, I do.
but would you understand when she was joyful? She was larger than life character as such, because that's how she's come into me to present rather than the negative, if you like. But it was the old style Mini, wasn't it? It's not these new ones. It was the old style Mini, and she loved it, didn't she? She loved her little Mini, and but I don't know as it was her fault, but tragic circumstances. That's what I keep getting, tragic. And it was either there was definitely an impact there, but I tell you what I am seeing, but I don't know whether this is my mind. It's almost like hitting a tree or something, or coming off the road. So I don't feel another vehicle was involved as such. I feel she come off the road and hit a tree, or something of that ilk, not a wall. Does that make sense? Because it was like, and I feel she passed at the scene of the accident because she'd hit it with such an impact. Well, little minis, they can be fast though, can't they? And but she gives me that, and I know that she didn't pass instantly. I feel they tried to work on her, but she did actually eventually pass at the scene. But she almost, I don't want to be graphic, but she shows me as if in the ambulance, that they got her in the ambulance, they was working on her, but they never left for the hospital because they couldn't, it was too crucial at that time, but then she passed. So within a matter of, well, an hour maximum that she passed. And do you understand the Susan?
There is a sort of
Yeah, connects around her, but is here, isn't she? She's not in the spirit world. But I know she makes me fidget a little bit. Do you understand that? And I know that you said she could be a moaning Minnie, but a glass was always half empty, actually. But you would understand with her that life shaped her that way, you know, and she struggled with her mood, if you like. If I put this in the most respectful manner, 1 minute I'm up, 1 minute I'm down. And that's how she was like with her mood. And I know that that was very difficult for her. And it was difficult for people being around her because it was often you're all trying to lift her up, or, oh God, she's in one of them today. Because, am I correct, you worked with this lady? Because she just takes me, because I know you used to work in the garage, I don't know whether you still do, but she just takes me into the garage. So I know that you would work together. You think, what mood she in today? But she knows all this now, you see. And but you know, she's actually very grateful for your kindness, and patience, because there was times where she goes, I was really difficult to work with. And I can see that. I can feel the emotion of it, actually. It feels really emotional. And I know she's very sorry about that because she sees it now. But she says, I couldn't see the bright side of things sometimes because I'd just get up there and then I'd be back down again. It was like a roller coaster of emotions. And but that said, it shook everybody when she did pass. Too young, far too young. Would you understand, because I went into 30s and you said she was a bit younger, but I know I got that. Would you understand that she would potentially be around that age now if she was still here? More towards 40. Yeah, that's okay, because I'm just being perfectionist, you know, want to know for her and for you. But, you know, I feel that this feels quite new, like she's either not come through before or not so strong. No, because that's how it makes me feel. And she gives me this emotion, but this sense of relief. Because she didn't understand any of this. She never knew about it. She didn't really think about it, or just thought it was a load of nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but she's so relieved that she could come and say hi, but also that you didn't forget her. You know, even if it was the moaning Minnie.
Well, that's what we call the
Moaning Minnie, yeah, because it's the Minnie bit as well, isn't it? 'Cause she did love a little Minnie, But I don't know what it is. I don't do heights, but she makes me feel like she was too tall for a Minnie. Does that make sense? Well, I wonder because it's almost like somebody, me, I'm only small, but with her, she's almost touched the roof of the Minnie with her head. But she loved it, absolutely loved it. And she loves that she can look at life now and be wherever she needs to be. But I know it's took quite some time for her to evolve and work through the healing of the experiences she had. And I'm not delving into them. But she comes with a lot of laughter now, because she could be a laugh. She could be really funny, really, really funny, very quick-witted, but then, like I said, she could be the complete opposite. But she says it's plateaued more now, and she gives this joy. One is thank you for your kindness, your patience, and your support as a friend. But also, she talks of things, like with the waves of emotions because of life. She says it's been like that for you, but not in the same context. But she says you're finding a peace and balance more now. Yeah. And she says, live life to the full. But we all know to do that, don't we? But we do forget, or we get so transfixed on things. She said, live in the here and now. And all right, I was going to move on. But every time you see an old Minnie, it reminds you of her, doesn't it? Was hers red?
Yes.
Yeah, because I feel she had more than one Minnie, but I know this one's red. And so you knew she was coming, it's that bright red. And, for passion as well. And she talks of that passion. And just sometimes put the brake on and just sit and be quiet, not always rushing forward. All right, so I leave her love with you. Thank you for working with me. Bless her. Okay, so now I've just heard the name George, and another one that feels like a military man here. I know with George, he stands very proud, and rightly so. I do feel actually he served the Second World War, so I know we're going right back there. But I do also know that he survived the war, and I know that he has at least 4 medals, and I feel one of those is like campaign medals, and I feel one of them at least is a star. But I feel that for a long time, there was only 3 given, and there should have been. Hang on, let me get this. There should have been. I feel there's 4, but there should have been a 5, something like that. It feels I never received it, or it was late coming. I feel these medals are still very much within the family, very much looked after. In fact, I feel there's some miniatures that have been worn as well. Who would understand this? Right, thank you. Not the name. Oh, the name feels significant. Would you understand? George. You understand the war and the medals. Both listening. So, because George feels very significant to me, and I felt like it was his name. Does that make sense? You don't, but you do. Yeah? Okay. Just listen in, won't you, please? Do you understand this like 4 medals, but there should have been a 5th? Because I don't know whether the 5th is back with the collection now, but I feel that he never got to receive the 5th one or something like that. And there's also this star as well. Very proud of these medals, he is. And would you also understand that he served in Europe? Yeah, and I feel like I want to go to Belgium in that area. Yeah, and obviously stating the fact, we've got Berlin and the war and all of that. And France, I just heard France and Paris. So he did serve quite a lot over in Europe, and he's very, very proud of that. But you've got, well, not you particularly, but someone's got the miniature set as well of his medals. Do you understand this? Yeah, and they've been worn, haven't they, on remembrance. I feel that they're being often worn for Remembrance Sunday in his name. Oh, geez, do you know how proud I feel? My heart sings. That's how he makes me feel, because he was proud to stand up for the truth, for what was right, for a country, for a king, queen and country, you know. So I know that he's so proud that he's still very loved and respected, and all the veterans really that gave their sacrifice their tomorrow for us to have today. And he's very, very much a passionate man, very kind man, but didn't speak much about things. He was very much within his thoughts more. But I don't understand the ranking, but would I be correct that he would have been a commanding officer or something like that, higher up in the rankings? Oh, I didn't hear that, sorry. Right, thank you. Yeah, I don't understand the rankings, so unless they spell it out to me. But I know that he worked his way up, and he was very passionate about. He's quite the leader as well. With the soldiers, and was very much with that. So just tried to give me another name, and I missed it. Got it. Do you understand Robert or Bob? That's in spirit as well. Yeah, because he just went Bob, Robert, but it depends who you spoke to, called him which one really, and that's how it felt to me. I mean, you've just told me it's your dad, and I just feel as if his presence is coming. He's coming forward with him. It's a bit like brothers in arms, actually, supporting each other. and as I cough there, would you understand that Dad had a condition in the lungs? Because I know I've got a cough, but I thought, I've got this tightness in my lungs, not particularly the heart, but the lungs. And of course, it probably did affect his breathing and his heart, but it's this condition, and it got quite restrictive. Do you understand this with your dad? But obviously he stands tall now. I'm a very proud man himself, and rightly so. And I feel that it's not the first time your dad's been through. Would I be correct? Comes through regularly, doesn't he? Yeah. But George isn't very so regular. Does he come through a lot, does he? Because I feel like he does. Yeah. But he's quite curious with all this as well, isn't he? He's quite a curious man. He would... quite open, actually, in a lot of ways, open-minded, and I don't know as he really had the opportunity to experience or understand this when he was here, but of course it's different now. He's over there and he can, and he will. But he's very curious about things. Now, George is still there, please. He's not gone away, he's stepping with him, but he's allowing your dad just have a few moments. Would you understand your dad loved birds? Like nature, the birds, the garden birds. Yeah, because I almost want to put a bird bath with a bird house, tree, whatever you call it. My words are gone. But all that, and just enjoying watching them through the window. Because he stayed more indoors in that latter part, didn't he? Before he passed. But I feel really he was a man that loved the outdoors. He loved to be, and many people do, but he'd rather be outdoors than indoors. But I know in those latter few months, he had to be more indoors unless somebody assisted him to go outdoors. But as long as he could see out, and he could see the world passing by, and he could see nature, that would help him. You would understand this. So he's a lovely, lovely man, and I feel like I want to say a wonderful dad, and a lovely dad, yeah. And I know that it left a very big very big hole in your life for a while then, still does. And actually you'd understand that you was either out in the garden or looking at flowers and nature or watching the birds, and you was thinking about him this morning, weren't you? And would I be correct, it was around 11 o'clock? Around 11 o'clock this morning. Around this morning, I felt that you was thinking about him. And he comes close, and he's just giving you that validation that he heard your thoughts. He was very much with you. And would I be correct? Also, there's an anniversary coming up this month as well. An anniversary. An anniversary of passing. I feel it's coming. If I come a bit closer, because if you're a bit hard of hearing, so am I. Can you see me still? Then you can hear me better. I feel I want to talk about the 13th, 14th or the 15th of August feels quite a significant date. I don't feel it's his passing. Yes, because I know that it's not his passing date, but I know he makes me aware of an anniversary of passing that's coming up. He wasn't somebody that remembered a lot of dates, but I feel that that date he would remember, you know, because I felt a closeness there with his mum, which would be your grandmother. But I know that they come in to support you at this time, because I know there's changes and adaptations and life changes that have had to happen recently, and it's not easy, is it? None of us really like change, do we? But I know that he comes to give you that strength. All right. Excuse me, hay fever as well. Not the lurgy. But I know that as I work with him, he gives this strength there for you. But he always was your strength, and he still is your strength. And he'll always be there for his daughter, always, but all the family. And of course, George has come in, but he just wanted to come and say hello. It was your dad that just wanted you to know that they're all supporting you. All right, so thank you for working with. God bless you. Have a sip of this because my throat's going. And see. Oh, crikey, so nearly done. That went quick, didn't it? When you're having fun, it definitely does. All right, so now I hear Mum, and I know she's trying to give me a name, and I'm not quite good, but I'm not sure this is her name actually. But I've got Mum with me, and we've all got a Mum, but some blessed here. But this lady's in spirit. Well, I want to talk about a name like Maria, that's closely connected, or Marianne. Around her, we all often get gifts from and inherit jewelry and things, but I feel that you would have. She makes me aware of my rings, and I feel that you've got 2 of her rings, but I feel that the jewelry would have been passed around. There's also a Janet or a Jane as well that she makes reference to. Mum feels very eager, and I'm sorry guys, but I feel I want to talk to a lady here. I feel like a daughter I need to speak to. And who would understand this? I haven't given a lot at the moment, but I've got Mum, and I know with Mum tried to speak in that latter time before she's passed. It's almost like you had to get really close because she was trying to speak, but she hadn't got the voice or the strength just before she passed. This is hours before she passed. But I feel with her, I feel that there was cancer there as well, amongst other things. And I feel that there was problems with her kidneys. Who would understand this? Nobody? Yeah, because sorry, I'll forget about you lovely ladies right at the back. Does any of you understand this with Mum? Right. I can't change it. It's got to be Mum. The name's not her name. It's connected around her. You would have... So nobody understands any of the information. Yeah. No, that's not her name.
No, I can, you said a Marianne, but a Marianne I know is a friend.
Right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, because Marie, it's not her. It wasn't her name. I knew that. But would you understand her trying to speak? Because I feel she would have tried, but hardly anything come out, or there was no sound. Oh, right, okay. Because I feel like I wanted to speak. Right, no, that's fine. Because I feel this this wanting to speak and just to say her last words of endearment, really. But also she makes me aware that she says, well, does any of us get everything right? She said, I didn't get everything right. And she realises that she kind of caused waves sometimes. Do you understand this? And she realises now that she should have probably kept that mouth a little bit more closed. Do you understand that? At times, please, I'm not trying to paint a bad picture, because she's not, but she looks and she thinks, oh dear, you know.
Yeah, she would do that sort of, oh dear.
Yeah, oh dear, I've done it again. No. Yeah, because I know she gives me that sense of that I didn't always get it right. But again, we're human, aren't we, at the end of the day? You know, and she was, you know, she just did her best. You know, and that's all we can do, isn't it? You know, she did. That's what she says. Oh, she liked a tidy house, didn't she? Very, extremely tidy, I mean. You know, because she's got me scrubbing the front doorstep. Yeah, every day she'd go round and she'd be cleaning. You know, there's a lot of memories of that, and make sure the house was tidy and clean all the time. And woe betide if you moved an ornament. I don't mean that in a negative way. She's bringing a bit of joy with that. But she shows me, would you understand them Royal Dalton ornaments, the ladies? Did she have something like that? Yeah, because I'm seeing them looking very pretty on the sideboard or wherever they were. You know, and she didn't want lots of ornaments, but she had some that were special. Does that make sense as well? And I also feel that she had one of those little vases where you could only get one flower in. And would I be correct that was handed down to her? I feel one of them come down. No, that's fine. But I know those things, like items like that, she treasured. You know, they weren't always of great monetary value, but the sentiment of things, you know, and but I know she didn't like much around, a bit minimalist in some respects. Yes, but I know she did like to have the photographs of the family and of the grandchildren as well. And would I be correct? There would have been 4 grandchildren, but that's gone on to being more now. Yeah, that's all right. I never remember when I've been asked, but I know she's watched the family grow and she's watched it blossom as well. And I know you mentioned about Marianne being overseas, but there's still communications overseas, isn't there? There's still some kind of communication, or she talks of. Yeah, I feel that there is still that connection, not visiting particularly, but communication. So she's glad that that's still happening. And well, that's a lot of help. She just, I know I need to tie this up, but she goes, well, if I knew then what I know now, life would be very different. And you understand that. I don't, but you do, because she tells me. And but she's like, she's met up with a Maggie or a Margaret. Do you understand that? Yeah. So, because she wants to call her Maggie rather than Margaret. Does that make sense? So, but I know that's short for Margaret. So they met up, and, you know, I feel that there's a lot of joy when they're together, you know, a little bit of laughter and banter and a bit over a cup of tea, you know. And so, you know, 'cause she did like her tea out of a bone china cup. And I actually go to the old cups and saucers as well. So she didn't like this mug thing. You know, you have to give her a cup and saucer. Proper good ladylike, you know, and proper tea. Proper tea bag, not tea bags, I want proper tea, you know, because it don't taste the same otherwise. So, you know, in that sense, and I mean, some would think that's quite general English evidence, but that's your mum. And she had a lovely tea set as well, bone china tea set. Yeah, and I feel that stayed in the family for some time after she passed as well. I don't know if it's there now.
Oh,
No, but I felt it was kept for a little while, but it never came out the box. Does that make sense?
I don't know. But
No, because I know you didn't have it, but it talks of it. But I know the happy memories of that. But she really looked after that tea set. And it's got flowers on as well, hasn't it? Yeah, because I know she's showing me it's very pretty, almost like English roses on them. Yes, because that's what she shows me. So the simple things in life don't have to have big monetary value, but it's valuing them, the precious. And, you know, that's, you know, she valued you all, but she talks of you. You value everybody in your life and the people in and what they bring. And the items are items, but the sentimental value often that comes with them, like the rings, you know, it's not, doesn't matter, it's irrelevant what they'd be priced at. It's that little gift from Mum, you know, and I know you've got the two. You don't always wear them though, do you? No. I feel like, you know, they're looked after, but they're not very often worn. But one of them, it's got really, I'm sorry, I meant to tie this up and I will do, but it's got really, because she wore it a lot, it got very thin, didn't it, under here? So you'd be very scared of it breaking, because that's what she makes me aware of. But anyway, she brings the love. She brings like this sense of the unity of family and how that's important to keep together, but it's not always been easy.
yeah, that bit is involved.
Right. Well, I know what I mean is she brings me that the unity of family that you have is very important, but I know that there has been the divide as well. That's why she talks about it. But that's why you value the close family you've got. But I know that others have branched away. She's very aware of that, and some of this has happened since she's passed.
I was just going to say, my family are my friends. My
Yeah.
friends.
But that's where you value.
Yes,
But you know, often our friends are our family, aren't they? Of course. So, but anyway, just to finish, she does give me a rose.
Lovely, yeah.
Yeah, so the roses are very significant, but I have to flip it to the name Rose as well. So she's met up with a lady called Rose as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So I leave all her love with her. She was wonderful to work with. Bless you. Bless you. Oh, I got quite hot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shelley Youell! And you know what? You didn't get in trouble this week, did you? You didn't get in trouble this week. You didn't have any grief. You didn't get any criticisms. At last. It was lovely. Yeah, it takes a lot to get that out of her. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've had a wonderful evening. Shelley, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I will tell you all about that message afterwards. Thank you all so much for supporting this family, because one of the things that I was inspired to say by what we were just seeing and hearing is that there's an old saying that is so often misquoted. And it is so misquoted. I love correcting things that are misquoted. There's an old saying, blood is thicker than water. And people use that to identify that family is so important, blah, 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 blah. The actual quote is, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. In other words, the promises you choose to make have so much more value and weight than those that are forced upon you. So the choices you make and the people that you choose to have in your life truly are a valuable commodity. And I thank you all for being part of my family, each and every one of you. But I just had to say that, you see. Friends, give a big thank you to our medium for tonight, the wonderful Shelley Youell. And it's been a long road getting from there to here, but you are definitely part of the family. So thank you for coming back. Friends, we are going to be wrapping things up in a moment. We've got a raffle. Lovely table full over there. Very nice to see. Thank you all so much for the donations. We are going to be wrapping up with a raffle. We have got cake. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's such a wonderful thing to have cake. You can't end a service without cake anymore, thanks to you and you. It's wonderful. And, you know, thank you all for everything that you do contribute. It is your presence and your contributions all do matter and make up. We're going to have a closing prayer. We're going to have a raffle because we'll have about 5 minutes just to have a quick puff and a cup of tea, those that want one. And then we'll go behind the curtains banging away. With the white feather drummers. Oh, that was well timed, wasn't it? Hello, God. We hear you. But it's God calling to tell me off. But thank you all for being here. If I haven't had a chance to come over and say hello and have a hug yet, I apologise. It's just that I haven't seen you, but I will make sure that I do. And if you haven't had the chance for a hug, come and drag me for a hug before you leave. But let's finish this evening in the traditional, familiar way by closing this evening in prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, divine universal source of all things, we thank you. We thank you for the opportunity to unite under a banner of love and hope and friendship, to witness proof, to witness truth, and to bathe in the love and light of all those in the world of spirit that have come forward tonight, and all of those that are here and letting themselves be known through our own thoughts, feelings, and intuitions. Let us take with us that message of love and unity and compassion out into the world. Share our feelings of joy and upliftment, compassion, unity, trust, love, enlightenment, and wonder. Share it with the world and never give an inch. And so, as everyone gathers together their things, let's take with them a blessing granted by the love of Spirit itself, that each one of you will be watched over until we meet again. In the name of the Great Spirit, Amen. Well, friends, that is near enough it. But do get your raffle tickets ready, because it's soon going to be prize winning time. And as for you lovely lot over there at home, get out of that one. It's been a pleasure as always. So everyone at home, from everyone here, after 3, 1, 2, 3, good night, and God bless you all. We'll see you tomorrow.